Hey guys, Brett here, and in this video I'm looking at a new training product called AmazoX. And in case you haven't figured it out from the name, AmazoX teaches people how to make money with Amazon. So here I'm actually on a preview that I was given of the sales page, and I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit of the sales page to you just to get started. So it says, stop importing from Alibaba, stop arbitrating on Amazon, and learn how a 400,000 a month Amazon master crushes it without ever having to buy stock, take risks, and arbitrage. Then it goes on to say, never before shared Amazon system creates massive windfalls of sales and profits without ever having to import from China or take massive financial risks. And that is a total mouthful and it's a lot of hype. But basically, what they're trying to say is that you can make money selling physical products on Amazon without actually needing to buy the stock yourself. You can find other people's products to sell and make money by selling other people's products on Amazon. Now, the creator of this product is a man named Dan Hollister, and I hope I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. I apologize if I'm not, but I did actually interview Dan. I did a live interview where I asked him to explain what he's doing, and I asked him a bunch of questions. However, I'm not going to show you that interview. And the reason I'm not going to show you that interview is because it was about an hour long, and I actually did the interview before I reviewed the product. Now that I've gotten review access to the training and I've reviewed the product, I think it would kind of be a waste of your time to show you the interview. So I'm just going to go right into the review of this training. Now, before I get too much into the actual review and show you the training, I want to point out one important thing, something that's going to be important later. And you're first going to think that this is a good thing, but then you're going to realize that it's actually a bit of a bad thing. Dan has actually done a lot of Amazon work before. He was actually involved in a book launch called The Secret. And The Secret is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, launch on Amazon ever. It actually did $300 million in sales on Amazon and then became a movie. Now, when you first hear that, you're probably thinking to yourself the same thing that I was thinking. Oh, that's awesome. This guy knows exactly what he's talking about. I mean, heck, he did a launch on Amazon that did $300 million in sales. Well, he didn't do it himself, but he was a part of the launch. And I thought that that was a really good thing when I first heard it. But then I started thinking about it as I was going over the training, and I realized that it's actually not a good thing. And I'll circle back to that later. What I want to do right now, though, is go into the members area and show you the training itself. Okay, so here we are. We're actually logged into the AmazoX members area. And anybody who has followed me for any length of time knows that I generally do not review OTOs. I always just ask for the front end access and I review the front end access. And the reason I do that is because I believe that people should make their purchase decision based on the front end. They shouldn't buy a front end product and then have to worry about what they're going to be offered later. The front end product itself should have enough value to justify the purchase. And that's why I normally only review the front end of a product. So I asked for front end access to the AmazoX program, and this is what I was given. You can see there are actually 6 videos. Now, the first one is just an intro video that really doesn't tell you much of anything. There are then 5 training videos, and these videos range in length from about 8 to 15 minutes. Overall, there's probably about 1 hour of actual training here. From a technical aspect, these videos are quite good. They're good as far as the video goes, and they're good as far as the audio goes. Dan is speaking in the videos, and he's very clear to hear. He's very easy to understand. And also, as he's speaking, the visual aspect of the videos is showing up like some nice bullet points and some nice animations. And they look like professional videos. They're done very well as far as the technicalities of the videos go. However, when you watch the videos, you start to realize that they are a bit lacking in the content. And I'm actually being really nice when I say they're a bit lacking in the content. They're actually quite lacking in the content. Now, let me explain exactly what I mean. So when I logged into the members area and I started watching these training videos, I expected probably what most people who are going to buy this program expect. I expected that this would teach me in detail how to emulate Dan's success. I expected that it would give me instructions on how I can run a business where I'm finding other people's products. finding people that I could work with, and then selling their products on Amazon successfully. That's actually what this training is supposed to teach you. It's supposed to teach you how to find other people who have products that are either not selling it on Amazon or are not doing well on Amazon. It's then supposed to teach you how to approach those people, present yourself as an Amazon expert, and then offer to run their Amazon campaigns for them using their Amazon account. So what you would do is say, for example, you would find somebody who has, a potato peeler, and they got this really cool potato peeler product. I mean, hey, everybody needs a potato peeler, but they're not selling potato peelers for some reason. People are just not buying that product. So what you would then do is approach those people and say, hey, look, I'm an Amazon expert. I can sell your potato peelers. I can get it ranked on the first page of Amazon. And in exchange for that, I would like 25% of your sales. That's basically what this training is in a nutshell. And honestly, that's pretty much all that you learn in this training. I pretty much just summed up the entire training for you. There's a couple of problems with that though. The first problem is approaching people. If you go to the module 2 here, this is supposed to give you the 6-step formula that you can use in order to emulate Dan's results. So you can actually see here, I'm not going to play the video because I don't want to give away their training, but you can see in the graphic here for the video, the 6 steps that you're supposed to learn. So the first step is actually find good products failing or missing on Amazon. So he does tell you very briefly how you can go about finding some products that are failing on Amazon and how you can tell if they're good products. He doesn't get into any detail at all. And that's actually a theme of this entire training. There's never any detail. It's all just general information. So he explains to you how to find a product very generally. And then he says you need to contact the vendor of that product. And the way he says to contact the vendor of that product is actually to search for them on Google and then find their website and then contact them. Well, how? Do you call them? Do you email them? Do you send them a letter? And also, what am I going to say when I contact them? What kind of information do I need to give to these people, and what kind of pitch do I need to give to these people in order to get them to want to use my services? I mean, he can't actually expect people to randomly email people that they've searched for on Google and say, hey, I noticed that you're not selling your product on Amazon very well, but give me access to your Amazon account and I'll get it on the first page of Google, I promise. And in exchange for that, I want 25% of all your sales. I mean, is he actually kidding? Does he actually think people are going to do that? And that's actually one of the things that I want to mention about it being a bad thing that he was very successful with the secret launch. You see, he can contact people and say, hey, look, I'm Dan Hollister. I did a $300 million launch on Amazon. I noticed that your product isn't selling that well, but I think I can do the same thing for you. He has the reputation from his past success that gets his foot in the door. However, you don't have that, and I don't have that. You're just some guy emailing or calling these companies out of the blue, saying, give me access to your Amazon account and let me run your Amazon campaigns. And in exchange for that, I want 25% of all the sales you make. I mean, that's crazy. No company is going to take you seriously. You'll probably have to contact hundreds of companies before you even get an answer. Now, obviously, I didn't do it myself. I didn't try to contact these companies, so I might be wrong. But really, I just don't believe that anybody is going to contact the company out of the blue and say, let me run your marketing campaigns for you. But I have no past experience or successes to tell you, and I want 25% of your sales. I don't see companies jumping on that one at all. Maybe they do for Dan, but like I said, Dan has that one past success that he did on his own, that one huge $300 million launch of the secret book that he was a part of, that he can use to get his foot in the door and prove to these companies that he's an expert. Because he can say, hey, look, I'm Dan Hollister. You can look me up. You can see I've done millions of dollars in sales on Amazon. So he has the reputation where people just buying this training product don't have the reputation at all. So I actually expected Dan to give some tips, on things you should say to these companies and, things that you can do in order to earn their trust and prove to them that you're a serious person. But he doesn't do any of that at all. He actually just says, look for them on Google, search up their website, and contact them. No more information, no more detail than that. And as I said, general information is the rule of thumb with this training. There is no detail at all in anything that you're taught here. There's very little actual actionable content. You can actually see, like, the second step is throw the product seller a lifeline. Well, like, how? What does that even mean? Throw them a lifeline? I don't know, because he doesn't explain it. He does briefly explain optimizing the product on Amazon, but basically all he's saying is put some more keywords in the header, take a better picture if you can. But again, he never really gives any details. He just goes on and on about how great this is and how you can make so much money without actually giving a lot of detail. And after watching all of these training videos, I can actually see what the point of this product is. The entire point of this product is to get you to click this button right here and buy the upsell. There's not any detail at all in any of these 5 training videos. As a matter of fact, after watching these training videos, I was left with more questions than when I started. I didn't feel empowered. I didn't feel ready to start my Amazon business. I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing. I felt like I had questions that I needed answered. And that's what the point of these videos is. The point of these videos is just to get your mouth watered, so that way you'll go ahead and click the upgrade button and then buy the upsell. And, I have nothing, wrong with upsells. I don't hate upsells. I'm a product launcher myself, and I have upsells on my own products. I totally understand the need to have upsells. The problem that I have with this, though, is that there's, like, as I said, there's no real detail and there's no real actual actionable content without buying the upsell. And you should not be required to buy the upsell in order to get value. You should get value from the product itself. Now, I haven't seen the upsells. I haven't been given access to the OTOs, and maybe they're great. Maybe you can see here, there's like training 6, 7, 8, 9, and then there's a software upsell, but the software is not actually a software. The software is just a checklist. As a matter of fact, Dan actually told me himself that the software doesn't do anything, that it's really just a checklist. But they made it a software because that makes it seem more valuable. It's just kind of lame. But there's other training videos that I don't have because I didn't get the upgraded version. So maybe they actually have detail and maybe they actually have actionable content. But, like I said, you shouldn't have to buy the upsell in order to get good quality training. You should get good quality training just from buying the front end, not questions. And that's what I got when I went over these videos. I got left with questions. I did not feel ready to take action. I felt like I had questions that needed answering. So in case you haven't noticed, I don't think that AmazoX is a very good investment. I think the concept is a good idea. I think Dan is a really nice guy. I spent about an hour talking to him in the interview that I'm not going to waste your time showing. It is on my YouTube channel if you actually want to see it. But I think Dan is a great guy. He seems like a really nice person. And I think that he probably makes money doing this. And I think that it may be possible for other people with a lot of work to make money doing this as well. However, I don't think that this training, is as it is without buying the upgrades, is going to teach you how to do it. And that is enough for me. I think that you should be able to get actionable content with all your purchases. I don't think that you should have to buy the front end and then be required to get the upsells in order to get any usable content. Well, I have no problems at all with a sales funnel. I think every single product in the sales funnel should provide value on its own. And I just don't see any real actionable value in the front end access that I was given. I will be incredibly surprised if anybody buys just this front end and then actually makes money with this system. So just to close up, again, to Dan, nothing personal. You seem like a great guy, and I do believe that you make money doing this. I just don't like the training. There's not enough detail here to make it worth me telling people to buy. There's not enough actionable content, and if people are anything like me, they're going to buy this training and then just feel like they have questions. And that's not what a training should do. A training should give you answers. It should not leave you with questions, and it should not be primarily focused on getting you to buy an upgrade. Alrighty, guys, thank you and enjoy.